Tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Paul Quinn. I'm living in Coleraine in the north of Northern Ireland, and thanks for coming along and listening to my little video.
And where does Rathlin walking tours fit in? How long have you been running walks?
I've been running walks for over 30 years now, and I started off in a previous job. That was part of my job to run these, and then when I left that job, I thought I enjoyed it, so I decided I would keep doing it. So I've been doing it on my own for that amount of time now.
And you mainly guide on Rathlin and the Causeway Coast, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's close to where I live. It's very beautiful, very scenic, attracts lots of visitors every day, every year, in fact. And I just think it's a nice place to show the people around the area that I live in.
And can you tell me a bit about Rathlin in general?
So, Rathlin is Northern Ireland's only inhabited offshore island. It's got about 150 people living there all year round. It's got lots of birds to see, particularly in the summer, and that was one of the reasons I started to visit there myself. And you can just have a great day out there. It's a lovely, peaceful place, a friendly place, definitely well worth a visit.
And what can folk expect to see on a Rathlin walk?
So, there's lots of scenery, cliffs, sea, views of the coastline around it. It's quiet, there's not too many cars. Wildlife wise, there's often seals to be seen, which people enjoy looking at. And in the summertime, lots of breeding seabirds. Puffins, in particular, are a common thing for visitors to look out for. And the puffins come there in April, they leave again in July, and it's just nice to go and have a wee look at them.
And what are the different walk options on the island?
So with me, with Rathlin walking tours, we could do a walk of maybe an hour and a half or so. Nice gentle walk along the centre of the island. If you've a bit more time, we can maybe take half a day at it, see a bit more of the island, and then if you've got a full day, we can certainly accommodate that as well. For a half a day or a full day, you're going to be walking on a mixture of quiet roads and a bit of off-road as well. We can tailor that to whatever way you want to do it. So you maybe need to be a wee bit more fit for the half day and the full day.
And what about kids?
Kids welcome in Rathlin, dogs welcome in Rathlin, dogs only on a lead please, but kids are welcome on the 90-minute walk that we do around the centre of the island. That's easy enough for kids.
And are any of the walks disabled friendly?
Yeah, again, I would say that the 90-minute walk, we call it the Mill Bay Walk, that would be suitable for wheelchair folk, and there's no problems there. You generally tell the ferry company in advance if you've got a disability that needs catered for, but we've done that walk before for people with disabilities.
And what other facilities are there on Rathlin for visitors?
So it's an island with a pub, a cafe. There's accommodation options. You can drop in to the cafe for a coffee or to the Manor House, a lovely Georgian house. You can drop in there for a coffee. The bar will do you some food as well. There is an island minibus which will take you to the Seabird Centre. That's where folks see the puffins and the guillemots and the razorbills. And that bus runs in the season from sort of mid-April right through to mid-September.
And how would I get to Rathlin?
So you go to Rathlin on a ferry from Ballycastle. So Ballycastle is in County Antrim in Northern Ireland, and Rathlin ferries run a schedule every day of the year, and they've got plenty of ferry crossings, particularly June, July, and August. And we can give you details of how to get in contact with them. Over 60s, if you live in Northern Ireland and you've got a smart pass, you can travel for free. I think kids under 5, they travel free. And then there are a range of fares, family fares and individual fares for other folk. You can also bring your bike there if you want as well.
And why would you say it's a good idea to book with Paul?
Why is it a good idea to book with me? I'm an enthusiast. I can show you around the island, point out things that you might miss if you're going there on your own. I have a big interest in birds and plants, so if you're interested in seeing birds and learning a little bit in a fun way about birds, you can join me for that. And also, I can help you plan the day so that you get the best use of your time, that you don't mess up uh, departure times from Ballycastle. Maybe you want to get the bus on the island and you want to do that. So it's just making the best use of your time as well as my knowledge of the island.
Okay, and if you're not on Rathlin, you're at the Giant's Causeway. Tell us a bit about that.
So the Causeway is a really popular place for all sorts of visitors to Northern Ireland and indeed the Republic of Ireland as well. It gets busy at the Causeway. There's a visitor centre at the Causeway. You can go there if you want. What we tend to do is we take people and we maybe start a walk at Dunseverick Castle, very scenic walk. Maybe takes a couple of hours or so. Take some photographs as you go along, and then we conclude at the Giant's Causeway. So that's a really good walk, worth doing. You need to be reasonably fit for that one because although it's all on level cliff top paths, there's steps and there's ascents and descents. So by all means do it, but you need to be reasonably fit for that one. We wouldn't recommend it for kids unless the parents think they can cope with that with the kids. And what I would say to you about the Causeway is we sometimes don't go into the Giant's Causeway Visitor Centre. We save you maybe £12 per person by avoiding the visitor centre, and we can show you and explain to you all the stuff that you'll get on an audio-visual guide from the centre itself. But of course, it's your option, your choice, whether you want to visit the visitor centre. So it's a worthwhile trip to do with us.
Okay, and the Causeway's frequently very busy with visitors from all over the world. What can I expect when I get there?
Yeah, well, as I said, pretty busy. If you come by car yourself, you will be paying a parking charge for your car and getting admission into the visitor centre itself. Alternatively, you can park your car at a little heritage railway nearby. That's a little bit cheaper, and then walk down at no charge to visit the Causeway Stones themselves. And if you've got some disabilities or if you're a bit infirm on your feet, there's a little shuttle bus which will get you from the visitor centre down to the Causeway Stones. That's a journey of about 1 kilometre, and the bus only costs £1. It's pretty cheap, so that's you don't have to be. Loads of people visit the Causeway, and you don't have to be super fit to do that. It's a great experience to see the stones.
Okay, and what if the weather's bad? Where do I stand at the Causeway?
So at the Causeway and at Rathlin, we just have to keep an eye on the weather. Paul, running his walking tours at either the Causeway or Rathlin, won't take you if he thinks the weather is too bad. And sometimes the weather on the north coast can be a bit challenging. So at the Causeway, because it's a cliff top walk, if the weather's stormy, windy, or it's been very wet recently underfoot, we'll probably cancel the walk, unfortunately, and you won't pay anything for that. On Rathlin, we depend on the ferries running, so the walk will go ahead if the ferries are running and you're happy to do it. But if you decide that you don't want to go, that's fine, no problem. You let us know in advance and you're not paying anything. So we want you to be comfortable and happy in the walk.
Great, that's really helpful. Last question. How do I get in contact with you, Paul, to find out more?
So to get in contact with Paul, Rathlin Walking Tours, the email address paul.quinn33@hotmail.co.uk. That's the best way of getting Paul. You can start to chat by email and he can plan your day out for you. There's a website too, but obviously you'll know that because you're already looking at this little video. Thanks very much for looking at the video. Look forward to seeing you in Rathlin.